I've been in the kitchen, whipping up the grits, and I've been really cooking true. Cutting off the dead ends, warming up my blessings, cooking up the perfect soup. Cause God's been really speaking, and I've been really seeing how you're manifesting proof. I've been cooking up some blessings for me, cooking up some blessings for me.
Hi everyone. Thank you and welcome for being in the kitchen with us again today. We have some great recipes coming to you. We're here with the Halifax Public Library, and I'm Nicole Johnson, one of the community specialists for the Preston Township. We're doing a cooking series inspired by African Nova Scotian kitchen recipes and dishes. And we have one of our home cooks here with us again. She did a great dish last time, so we're gonna do some boiled dinner, is that correct?
It is.
So our cook today is Ariana Desmond. And Ariana, please share with us, because this is traditional comfort food and home-cooked meals and some good hearty stuff. So we're cooking boiled dinner, so what's your process of starting this dish?
So with this dish, you will be needing a bone-in ham. If you cannot find one, you can also use one of the pre-formed smaller hams, but it is to your liking. If you are only a family household of 2, you do not need a full ham. I can tell you it will be a large process if you do get one. But to start us off, what we're going to do is we're going to be boiling the ham. We need to get some of the salt out of it, that when you go to test it, it will fall apart, and that's how you know that it is absolutely done. We are going to let that cook for a little bit. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and get our vegetables prepped and ready.
Okay, what do you need for that?
Okay, so we're just going to quickly go through. We're going to start at the far end. We have some turnips here, carrots, cabbage, and potatoes. So for the turnip, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you over here that we're going to do some slices. I'm going to put Nicole to work. She's going to do some slices. So basically what I did is I just sliced them like that. If you have smaller children, you do not have to do these big of pieces. You can cut them in half as well, or you could do them a different lengthwise. It all depends on your family. If you want them to be a little bit bigger, you can cut them bigger.
And they're thin because they have to cook through and come, you know, everything needs to cook all at the same time.
I do fairly thin slices. That way, by the time you get your vegetables like carrots or cabbage cooked, they will be partially cooked. So we're gonna put these in first with the cabbage so that they cook a little bit longer because they have that tougher exterior.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You're gonna do the carrot. And basically what we did was we just cut them into 4 so that you get equal sizes. Now keep in mind, some carrots are very skinny at the bottom, so if you see them, do not cut them in 4, cut them in half or quarters, okay? Or not in quarters, cut them in half, sorry about that.
And be careful because right now my gloves fit me, but I don't have them all on the way, so you just gotta make sure that everything fits properly and that you're not slicing into your own finger. So kitchen safety is always a must.
Yes. So for the cabbage, I'm not gonna do very small pieces. If you have small children, you can do them smaller, but once the cabbage cooks up, it will fall apart basically. So we don't want them too small that it's basically non-existent. So what we have here is a quarter of the cabbage. We're going to core it so we get this out because this is pretty much not gonna be good for your children to try and eat. So we're gonna lay it down like this and we're just gonna go in and cut it
on the diagonal.
On the diagonal. Then you have the core out. This can go in your green bin. And with this, what we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly, you can either cut it in half or in 3s so that it cooks to your liking. I'm going to do 3s.
Okay, so this water is ready.
So what we have is potatoes. You can buy whatever potato you prefer. My grandmother always swore by Yukon Golds, but that was her. So what we're gonna do, again, if you have small children, you can cut these smaller. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them into 3rds.
And you de-skinned the whole potato, correct?
I did peel the whole potato. And then we're gonna leave it in halves. Again, if you have small children, you can cut them again.
What's the best part of cooking for you?
I have to say the best part of cooking for me is to eat.
Me too.
I love the adventure of cooking, but I love the end result.
This ham smells good. And it looks like it's coming along quite nicely.
Now with all of our vegetables cut and prepped, Once your ham is cooked, take half of the reserved water from the ham, add that with another about half of the water so that you can dilute that salty water so that we can flavor our vegetables.
Right.
So we have our half already here. What we're gonna start with is we are going to add in the cabbage and the turnip. We're gonna let those cook for a little bit so that they can cook a little bit longer because they are a little bit tougher to get through and cook. And we're just gonna drop that cabbage in.
Okay, and you don't need to break it down or break it apart. It'll just fall apart as it's cooking.
It will fall apart as it cooks.
Okay.
You can give it a little push.
Oh, look at it. It's pretty. It's falling apart already.
It is falling apart. Once you add it in, it will fall apart. Don't worry about it. That's a good sign. We're gonna leave that on. And now we're gonna just add in our turnip.
So according to the recipe, our Sunday boiled dinner is 1 bone-in ham, so the bone is in there, 1 cabbage, 1 turnip, 6 potatoes, 6 carrots, and pepper to taste. Again, you can always adjust your recipe. Absolutely. And again, your seasonings and your broth as well.
Yes.
So do not forget those.
The turnips are gonna be hard for quite a long time. Don't be worried about that. It is just the way turnips are. So once we let that cook for a little bit, we're gonna add in our potatoes and carrots after that. And we're gonna let those cook as well.
Okay. So if I can also use this time to remind those of you, please send in your photos. Just let us see that you are enjoying yourself in the kitchen, because that's the big part, that you're in the kitchen enjoying your recipe and cooking. We would love to see any photos that you have or videos. All of that would be great too. Right, Ariana?
It would be.
Okay, so the ham is, I think, about ready. And then I think we have left to add the potatoes and the carrots.
Yeah.
Now that the cabbage has been boiled down.
So we're gonna go ahead and add those potatoes and the carrots and let those cook for about 15 to 20 minutes until the carrots and potatoes are cooked all the way through. If you have a full bone-in ham, you can take that out of the pot and let it cool for a little bit and then slice it to your liking.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this ham, take it out and give it a little bit of a slice so that we can fit it for our serving.
Okay, so slice as in like slice dice, or just cut it up and...
We're gonna cut it into sections almost so that we can, big enough portions to serve to people.
Okay, so I'm behind you. I think Ariana has another recipe in mind, so we're gonna keep the juice for her. Waste not, want not, that's the rule.
And again, you can always save this broth in a mason jar or a freezer safe
Behind?
jar. Okay. And you can use it for other such recipes as if you are having another boiled dinner or another recipe such as corn chowder. If you know how to make that, we can add that as well. It's great broth to use.
Right, am I cutting?
Yeah. If you like, I have a bigger knife over here.
Oh, okay, I can do that. Thank you. Again, rule safety. When you're passing by somebody or you're using knives, make sure that you handle your knives properly so you don't, by accident, stab yourself or anybody else. So again, you can cut it however you want to, as long as you have a nice bite size to it, because once it's in the pot, you're gonna serve it hot and ready. Now there's a fatty piece in there. Did you keep that in there for flavor?
You do keep the fatty pieces for ham. If you do get a bone-in ham, you will notice that it does have a bigger portion of fat on top of it. I do recommend to leave that on because you are gonna pull some of the flavor from that fatty piece of meat. When you do serve it up, I do recommend cutting it off and discarding it, okay? We're gonna go ahead and chuck that meat in the pot.
Oh, I don't want to splash anybody, so make sure you be gentle to put that in there, because look at that. Nice and tender.
There you go. Now you're gonna continue to let this cook until, again, your potatoes and carrots are cooked all the way through. And once that is done, you are all set to go. You can plate this up and serve this, again, with your favorite topping. I know that in my household, we usually do it with mustard. I know Nicole says she does with ketchup and mustard, but it is to your liking. If you will have a condiment that works best for you, I do recommend.
Right, delicious. Okay, so this is gonna boil for a little bit longer.
This is gonna boil for a little bit longer until our potatoes and carrots get cooked.
Okay. And how do you know that the potatoes and carrots are cooked to your liking?
Okay, so for me, I just always check if I pass the time that I have assigned for the cooking, I will go in and pick a fairly big piece, and then I will take a fork and try to get it through. Now, whereas I just added these are not cooked at all.
Okay, good.
But in about a half an hour or so, you come back and you give the potatoes and carrots a little poke. If you can get the fork through them without struggling, they are completely cooked.
That ham is good. Wow. Sorry, I should be talking with my mouth full, but I can't help it. So you are such a delight to work in the kitchen with and to cook with as well, because all your dishes have been nice, easy, and simple. Nice enough to be able to feed a large-sized family. So that's important, to make sure that we have enough for everybody to sit down at the table with, right?
Yes.
So again, this is my plug-in. Send in your pictures to the Halifax Public Library so that we can have footage and some imagery of you and your family cooking in the kitchen. We would love to have that. Okay, finally, we have a completed plate and it looks divine. She's laid it out for you as best as she can with all of the fixings, the parsley sprinkled on top, and you can do your, seasoning of salt and pepper if you would like to, but again, taste it first so you don't over salt your food. This looks great. It looks really good. Like, I can eat that. The only thing I'm missing is my ketchup and my mustard. But I think this is a great Sunday dinner. Again, a full pot. You can have more than first and seconds and still have plenty left over.
Yep.
So thank you. And thank you for joining us in the kitchen, and we will see you on the next video.
I've been in the kitchen, whipping up the grits, and I've been really cooking true. Cutting off the dead ends, warming up my blessings, cooking up the perfect soup. Cause God's been really speaking, and I've been really seeing how you manifesting proof. I've been cooking up some blessings for me.